Hey, what's going on out there in IE Network land? And you know what time it is. When it's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is now time for the Benchwarmers Podcast, exclusively here on the IE Network on YouTube. Yes, so thank you for joining us this evening. We're always here every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with yours truly, the man himself, James Acevedo. Of course, my co-host, Heaven Hollywood, who will join us a little shortly. And of course, shout out to our producer, the director himself, Wes Clark, for producing this show, as he always does every week. And this is going to be a very big show. As always, we always get down to the nitty gritty when it comes to sports and entertainment and all that other good stuff. And we're going to start off, first off, before we get the show going. I'm going to talk a little bit about another passing of a legend in sports. It seems like almost every week I start the show, I'm sending out my condolences and prayers to somebody's family. And this time is the NBA legend, Laker great, NBA Hall of Famer Elgin Baylor, who passed away just yesterday at the age of 86. Uh, from what I know, he died of natural causes. He passed away with his wife and her daughter by his bedside. He was 86 years old. He had a remarkable, underappreciated and underrated NBA career. For those who don't know about Elgin Baylor graduated from the Seattle University. He led his collegiate team to the championship game in 1958, even though they lost, but he led them to the championship game. And his credentials are like unbelievable. He spent 14 years with the Lakers from 1958 to 1972. His whole career with the Lakers. First two, anybody doesn't know, the Lakers used to be in. They originated in Minnesota, so they were the Minneapolis Lakers before they moved to Southern California and LA in 1960. So 58, 59, played for the Minneapolis Lakers, and then the next 12 years was with the LA Lakers, the whole time in LA. And his career is nothing to sneeze at. His average for his career: 27.4 points, 13.5 rebounds, 4.3 assists. He's 11-time All-Star, 10-time First Team, All NBA selection. He was the 1958-59 Rookie of the Year in the NBA. His best season actually came in the 1961-62 season when he averaged 38.3 points a game and averaged 18.6 rebounds. That's unbelievable. That's remarkable. I mean, that's amazing considering that's during a big man era when you had Will Chamberlain and all those other big men out there, especially the dude at Celtics, which forgive me, his name escapes me right now. But I mean, he played with a lot of big men because I mean, Elgin Baylor was only 6'5". So I mean, I know that still sounds tall, but considering big men in those days, and nowadays, 7 feet, 6'8" and above, he was a little big man compared to these other guys. So for him to score 38.3 points a game and 18.6 rebounds in 1962 season, that's amazing. Let alone his career. He averaged 27.4 points a game and 13.5 rebounds and 4.3 assists, by the way. I think I also said 11-time All-Star, 10-time First Team All-NBA selection, like I was saying, 58, 59 Rookie of the Year. Matter of fact, a lot of nice words were said. Even one from the blast from the past, the late, great Kobe Bryant, when he said personally, "I'd like to thank you," talking about Elgin Baylor, "because I stole so many of your moves. It's not even funny." And for those who don't know, before there was a Dr. J, before there was a Michael Jordan, there was Elgin Baylor. Elgin Baylor was a big time wingman. He used to do a lot of creative moves in front of the basket, which Dr. J and Michael Jordan, two other great NBA legends, have admitted that they were influenced by the late great Elgin Baylor. So it goes to show you that people gotta understand there was someone here before you, and I've always preached about respecting the past, no matter what it is, when it comes to any sport or music or whatever it is. We always have to remember the people that paved the way before you came along in the scene. And it seems like nowadays, people don't do that anymore. As far as the younger people, and even there's actually some even people that are older that seem that way too nowadays. Not just younger people, but I come from that era where I always loved the past as well as the present. And of course, when you do all that, the future will be bright. And even though the current future ain't so bright when it comes to sports entertainment, at least in those days, and especially during my time too, when I grew up in the 80s and 90s, when I was a kid slash through teenage years, I mean, it was nothing like no other when it came to sports and entertainment. So, I mean, Elgin Baylor, he was just way ahead of his time. As a matter of fact, another thing that a lot of people don't realize about Elgin Baylor too, not only he's underappreciated and underrated as an NBA basketball player, he also was a huge influential figure in the civil rights movement. There was a time where Elgin Baylor once sat out a game in the NBA because the hotel wouldn't let him and his black teammates stay there. So that's I think that's when he was in the NBA, or that I think that actually I correct that. I think that's when he was in Seattle University when he was still in college that he did that, and he actually sat out a game because him and his teammates weren't allowed to be in the hotel because, of course, in those days, black people weren't allowed at certain facilities, which is ridiculous. So he took a stand in his rights. He was kind of like what Jackie would have done. You know what I mean? Not as out there like Jackie Robinson was, or other influential figures when it comes to the civil rights movement. But Elgin Baylor definitely made a stand in his heyday when he sat out a game because him and his teammates weren't allowed to stay at a certain hotel. So he took a stand. And that's something more importantly than anything he ever did in the NBA, I respect as a human being. So that shows a lot right there, you know what I mean? Especially in those days when, they could lynch you up, in all seriousness. So that's just remarkable courage and strength that Elgin Baylor showed in his young years. I mean, this is not something when he was an older man. This was in his youth. So that shows a lot to me when it comes to the late great Elgin Baylor. He was inducted to the Hall of Fame in 1977, for those of you who don't know. And then in the next 22 years, the 22 years of his life and his later years, he actually was the GM of the Los Angeles Clippers. And maybe that's why people don't talk about him as much. Unfortunately, what he did on the court, because when he was off the court, when it came to him being a GM, his GM career in the NBA didn't stand out, obviously, like his NBA playing career, which is unfortunate because you got to remember who was the owner then, Don Sterling. We all remember him from a few years ago. So, he wasn't allowed to really have the resources and the money overflow of cash to get players to play for the Clippers. And let's be honest, the Clippers were not really an attractive team to go to. Even going up to in the 2000s, it still wasn't attractive to go to the Clippers until Don Sterling got banned for life just 6 years ago, 7 years ago, and then now it became a more attractive place to play. Kawhi Leonard and all these other players now that come to the LA Clippers and actually have been competing team. And when Elgin Baylor was a GM, it wasn't that they didn't compete and they didn't have good players; they just didn't win. And because the resources were limited because of the cheap owner that they had with Don Sterling, couldn't do nothing. So it was only so much that he could do, with Elgin Baylor could do with the team. And sometimes the GM could get too much credit or too much criticism, depending on the situation. So, but nonetheless, the man had a great life. I mean, he lived to be 86 years old. I mean, an NBA Hall of Fame career. And a remarkable thing was that he never won a championship. He never got a chance to win a title. He was in the finals. I think it was in during the 60s. but they got swept by the Celtics in 4 straight. And the year that they won was I think the 71-72 season. That was his last season. And if he would have just stayed on the team, even if he didn't play every day, if he just sat on the bench, he would have had a ring, automatic ring come to him. But because he had so much pride and dignity, he actually sat out during that. I think that was the team that went. They won. They held the record for the most wins at the time with 72 wins. With 71 wins at the time. So, I mean, to sit out on that great team, one of the greatest teams of all time, the 71-72 Lakers, knowing he probably was going to get a guaranteed ring because he felt like he didn't deserve to have that ring because he wasn't playing up to par like his career showed in the past, he actually retired during that season. And he could have had a ring guaranteed to him, but he chose not to because he had dignity and he had class, and that shows a lot. Unlike most people are today, they would just ride that gravy train and get that free ring. Say, "Ooh, I want to get that free ring." Even if I just sat on the bench and mopped the sweat off the NBA court, I don't care as long as I get a ring. I mean, now announcers and ball boys get rings, which I find it ridiculous. But I guess just to show team unity. I guess I don't know, because to me it should be just the players. And if you want to, have the GMs have it, I guess. And the owners, obviously, yeah, that's fine. But I don't know, broadcasters, I guess, as time goes by, okay, broadcasters. But to me, a ring, when you think of a ring, a championship ring, you think of a player. You're not thinking of a broadcaster or a GM or owner. But nevertheless, it is what it is. But I wanted to pay my condolences and mad respect to Elgin Baylor, the late, great Elgin Baylor. And my condolences and prayers to his family, his wife, his daughter, and his many friends. He lived a good life. He really did. And from what I heard from a lot of people, very, very good man. So that's fortunately we lost another decent person. So yes, the late great Elgin Baylor, who just died yesterday at the age of 86. Yeah, I'll take 86 right now. I'll take 86 right now. So, I just want to definitely start off with that before I continue with the show. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is this. If anybody that doesn't know, everyone that knows DESHAUN Watson, he's been in the news lately. If you remember the last couple of months, there was talk about how he wanted to get out of Texas. He plays for Texas. For anybody doesn't know, they use Texas, by the way, the NFL. And there's been talks going back to a couple of months ago. He wanted to get out. He wants to go to another team. Blah blah blah. And then the talks kind of quiet down when it came to trade talks and whatever. And to be honest, the draft didn't happen yet. And you have to remember that a lot of big moves, especially when it comes to trades, could happen in the NFL draft. So it got very quiet until the last, I would say, week and a half, 2 weeks, where all of a sudden an accusation comes up about DESHAUN Watson talking about there was some sexual something sexual when it came to a masseuse, like it was some indecent exposure or something like that when it came. And at first it was one woman, then one became 2, then became 4. Now we're up to 14 women. Excuse me, 24 women with 14 civil lawsuits against DESHAUN Watson. Now, this don't sound good, like I was saying to Wes the other day, our producer, the director. When there's more than a couple of women, after a while, when there's smoke, there's fire. When there's one or maybe 2, you go, I don't know, maybe it's just something that is blown out of proportion, maybe. But then when it becomes a lot more, then especially up to 24 women, that's that they all can't be lying. You know what I mean? But then you think about what I was just talking about a minute ago. He wanted out of Houston, which is interesting to me. He wanted out of Houston. So I'm thinking, like, okay, he wanted Houston. Houston didn't want to let him go. He had these places he wanted to go, blah, blah, blah. They were talks about the Jets, whatever that is. Then it got quiet. Then all of a sudden these accusations came out. And not only that, isn't it funny you haven't heard one peep from anybody, not just Deshaun Watson, which probably his lawyer told him to shut up, not make a comment, but nothing from management, nothing from the Houston's management or anything, which makes me think, because usually when accusations go against their own player, right away, or at least in due time, they say something. They say either, oh, we're behind our player until more evidence comes out. We're behind, or even if you want to get more diplomatic, hey, we're looking into this investigation. We're going to see how this plays out, but we ain't making no comments right now until further information is presented to us. Didn't even hear that from Houston management, from the Texans management. So then it makes me think, like, interesting. They didn't want Deshaun Watson to leave. So here I go throwing that, being a cynic again, just like I was doing last week, putting that cynic hat on, playing devil's advocate. Because let's really think about this. It's not these accusations didn't just come up a week ago. Notice that they didn't say specifically when this happened. So this could have happened within the year, last few months. We don't know. So who's to say? Now, I'm just saying, I'm not saying this is true. I'm just putting this thought out there. It's a theory. What if the Houston Texans management knew about this and they were waiting for the right moment to throw it out there as their royal flush against Deshaun Watson? Meaning, they knew he wanted to leave. And they were trying to be like, look, Deshaun, come on, stay here. We want you to stay here. We don't want you to go. Come on, man. I know you don't like what's going on around here as far as, you want to win. We're not giving all we got, but come on, and Deshaun Watson was like, no, I'm out of here, blah, blah, blah. Now, after a while, was it during that time, not just this past year, but in the past, are these accusations from a few years ago or just last year? And they covered it up all this time. They kept quiet until things went south with Deshaun Watson. And that's why this got leaked out. Just saying, I don't know. Also, you could also throw another theory out there that is that the reason why Deshaun Watson wanted to leave Houston in the first place? Maybe he knew about these accusations. And to be fair, maybe the Texans didn't know that he had these accusations. And he wanted to just get out quietly and leave and get the heck out, make up some excuse to wanting to leave. Like, well, I don't like it here. Management sucks, blah, blah, blah. That's a possibility. But I also want to make a point that I'm not trying to downplay any of these women's accusations because, we don't know what's true, what's not. I'm just throwing out theories out there like, why is it that Texas management hasn't said a peep? Not one peep. You don't have to say nothing personally. You can have a lawyer representing the team or whatever, representative, something, a spokesman for the team to say, listen, we don't want to have them, even if you don't want to say publicly, hey, we back Deshaun Watson until further evidence or not, or say we're not supporting him, at least say something. Say, look, the most diplomatic thing to do, like I just said, was, hey, we're going to look into this matter, and until further information is brought to us, we're making no comment. They can at least say that. They didn't even do that. So I just find it very interesting about these accusations. I'm not saying they're all false. Some of them might be false. I think some of them are true. Now, we've heard that he's had an outstanding reputation since he's been in the NFL, that he's been a great guy, not a blemish on his record. Nothing of sorts of any of these accusations came out or anything close to this. He's been a great ambassador for the NFL. Nothing of off the field or on the field that will raise an eyebrow to think that, well, maybe Deshaun Watson did do this. Deshaun Watson did do this. But out of the blue, it just came out just not even 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, and now the lawsuits are piling up, and now we're up to 14 lawsuits from 24 women. And where does it stop? I mean, for both sides of it, it's just terrible. I mean, we go by innocent until proven guilty. But nowadays, it's like the total opposite. It's like guilty until proven innocent. Unfortunately, the way it is nowadays. Now, I'm not saying Deshaun Jackson is guilty. I keep saying Johnson. Excuse me. Deshaun Watson is guilty, and I'm not saying the women are making false accusations. Some of them might be. I don't think all of them are. I don't think so. Like I said, when there's smoke, there's fire. They can't all be lying now. And I'm just playing devil's advocate. I just wonder, did they knew? Did management knew and they hush? Because remember, although we didn't get to talk about it here, what was it like 2 months ago? There was a Met GM that that went through some sexual harassment charge that it was kept a hush until it finally got leaked out. And to the knowledge that I've heard from sources I know, that was kept on a hush until recently. Same thing with the former Met manager. I forgot his name. He had sexual allegations against him. Not as a Met manager, but like in the recent with the Angels or something like that as a coach. So, and that was kept hush until it finally got leaked out. So, who's to say? Did Texas management know and they kept it quiet because they were trying to protect their player? Because trust me, at one point he was put on that pedestal. They didn't, that was their bread and butter. Deshaun Watson, that was their bread and butter. They didn't want no blemish on their diamond. Heck no. So I'm not saying that that's what happened, but it's happened in the past where a franchise would keep hush, try to do something to make this go away so their main superstar doesn't get in trouble. But they didn't want to lose that superstar because, unfortunately, money means everything to people. So I'm not saying that's what happened here, but it's a big possibility. That's all I'm saying. It's a huge possibility that Texans management didn't know about this and they kept it quiet, or Deshaun Watson kept it quiet and Texans management didn't know about it until now. Either way, it's not good. So, we try to give this dude the benefit of the doubt that he's innocent until proven guilty. But I just find it very strange how, this all came out. And not too long ago, there was a rift between Deshaun Watson and management. And then all of a sudden, this falls in his lap. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it didn't happen, these accusations, sexual accusations against him. I'm just saying it's just something fishy in Denmark. That's all I'm saying. I think this was hit somewhat. Either it was him by Watson or it was him by management, or who knows, maybe even both. And just somehow they got fed up with Deshaun Watson. They were like, you know what? He wants to leave. He's making all these problems. You know what? Let's ruin his career. So that way nobody would want him and he has to stay with us. And that's what we come in to save the day. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there. Not saying that's true. I'm just saying it's a big time possibility. That's all I'm saying. It's definitely a big time possibility that Deshaun Watson either covered this up himself, management covered this up, or both. Either way, like I said, it's not good. So we'll see what will happen with that when it comes to Deshaun Watson. Because not looking too good. Not looking too good at all. Not looking too good at all. Very shortly, we will have my co-host, Kevin Hollywood. He'll be joining us very shortly. By the way, while we're waiting on him, LeBron James, I think for the first time I've ever seen in my life, he actually got hurt in a game. Hurt to a point where he actually was out of the game. And there's talks about him being out for a month, 3 or 4 weeks back. So definitely just round it off to a month. Because when they say 3 or 4 weeks, add a little more time to it. Make it a month or so. He was his diagnosis is out with a high ankle sprain. So it didn't look too good when he went down at first. Anybody that's seen the video of him, I think it happened a couple of nights ago. He came down real hard, and everyone thought at first that maybe it was his knee that gave out on him, which would have been definitely devastating if that would have happened. And I could never remember ever, when I saw that video, I never remember LeBron not only in that much pain on the court, laying on the court, but him just being hurt and leaving the game, period. I can never, because this guy practically plays almost every day. I mean, let's be honest. I call it like it is. No matter if I like the person or not, and I'm not a big time LeBron guy when it comes to the person, but you cannot take away his work ethic. The guy plays almost every minute. So it's when you see something like this, you go, wow. Not only he got hurt. First of all, he rarely gets hurt because he's such a physical specimen, and he takes care of himself very seriously. Like, you never see him leave the game because of the injury. I just can't ever remember him being with the Cavaliers those 2 times, him being with the Heat, yeah, him currently with the Lakers. I just don't remember. I don't remember any of his long career. Now, he's been in the league, 17, 18 years now? 18 years playing in the NBA? Can never remember him ever not only being in that much pain, but him being taken out of the game because he got hurt. So, the good thing that he walked out on his own accord, which is good. He walked out on his own merit. So, he wasn't like he was carried out on a stretcher, or, they got a golf cart and, they drove him to the locker room or anything like that. So that's a good sign. But now with Anthony Davis out and with LeBron James out, now people are like, oh, the Lakers are in trouble, this and that. The only thing that's good about this is that now, first of all, they still have time. I mean, it's still, a couple months, a month and a half left of the season, and by the time he gets back in physical shape in a month, now, of course, it all depends on how good the ankle is. The good thing is a high ankle sprain. If it was a low ankle sprain, then it'd be even a bigger problem. A low ankle sprain, trust me, I've had that. They ain't no good. High ankle sprain is not as bad. Low ankle sprain, kind of worse. So, I don't think it's going to affect them at all. I mean, right now, from the last time I checked, they're number 3 in the West of the NBA. I mean, they're not in the top 5 power ranking, which is so stupid. I don't even pay attention to that crap. Anyway, but I don't think that oh my God, now they're done. And now they're gonna tailspin into the in the toilet. I don't see that happening at all. They're gonna fall out to the 8th seed or something like that. Let's not get crazy now. Now the main thing is what's gonna happen when they come back, especially the Anthony Davis. He's been gone forever. It seems like he's been gone for like almost 2 months. It seems like when's he gonna come back? You know what I mean? But they can be smart. Now, you can look at it 2 ways when it comes to Anthony Davis. Are they holding him back because the injury is more severe than they let on to the public? Or they're playing it smart and let him rest more, so that way, when they come back and the playoffs start, they'll be fully rested and ready to go, which is very possible. But, like I said, chemistry is a big thing. Although this team won a championship last year, you don't want to mess with chemistry. You want to have, no pun intended, keep the ball rolling. You know what I mean? So we'll see about all that, But I'm not one of these people that, oh my God, the Lakers. I'm like, they still got enough time. Now, if this was a month later, this was like, if this was April 23rd, we're talking about, then okay, then I would say they're in trouble. But considering they still have like at least 5 weeks left the season, month at least left. I mean, or at least 6 weeks, 5, 6 weeks, whatever it is. At least 4 to 6 weeks left. At least 6 weeks tops left. I'm not gonna make a big deal. LeBron just takes so care of himself that I don't see that it would affect him. Now, would it be to where it really affects his game? Now, I remember that time in the finals where he did have the one of the finals he lost not too long ago, where after the finals was over, he made a big deal about, oh, my wrist or whatever it was hurting all that time. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, now you say this, when the finals is over, not when during the finals, because then you wanted to make an excuse in case you lose. But anyway, that's what that's funny. I told it back then in the show in the past. But to be fair, I don't see the Lakers in trouble or anything like that. I do see them really coming together, especially that they've played together. They won a title together. It's not like, now this would be different if they hadn't won last year, and now you come into this situation where, LeBron gets hurt. I think Davis been out for almost 2 months. Now that would be a problem. But they've experienced victory winning a championship. So I don't see that because it's happening. Oh my God! Now everything's going down the toilet. I just don't see that. So we'll see about that. I'd like to have Heaven's thoughts when he comes on here when it comes to LeBron. I think he would agree with me. I don't think he's too worried about that either. I wouldn't make a big deal about that. So we shall see about that. Let me see. Let me go to the chat room here. I don't know if anybody's in the chat room. Hello, everybody. Oh yeah, what's up, Joseph Tanner? How you doing? Some of our, regulars that come in the chat room. What's up, everybody? How you doing? Let's see what we got in here. A brawl. Okay, Joseph Tanner talking about a brawl that happened after an MMA fight. Well, Joseph, I don't know about that. So I'm sorry. I don't know about that fight that happened after I see. Yeah, I'm not an MMA. I'm not into the MMA, so I don't know nothing about that or heard anything about it. So I'm sorry about that. I don't know about that. So I can't comment, unfortunately, about that. So I can't comment about that. Oh, we're back. Yes, sorry about that. yeah. I was that was my fault there. My fault. I sincerely apologize. I was looking at what Joseph Tanner was saying in the chat room, and I pressed the wrong button. And I exited myself out of the live, so I apologize about that. That was just only for 5 or so minutes, so apologize about that. We will have Evan Hollywood on very shortly, and thanks to Wes, our producer, for getting me back on because I was in limbo. I was like what you call it, Superman 2 with Zod and his crew being in that flat diamond, whatever that was. Oh, help! You know. I was like, I'm here, but I'm not here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we're definitely gonna wait. Get our take here for Heaven when it comes to since Heaven's a big time, long time Laker fan. Which, by the way, somebody that was born and raised in New York City, how you become a Laker fan? Not me. I don't understand that, but a lot of people in New York are like that. If a local New York team sucks and they can't wait for their team to be good, they go jump on a bandwagon. In this case, I guess that's what happened. I don't want to speak for it. See, I'm New York all the way. Yankees, Knicks, Giants. That's it. I don't be rooting for no other color from some other city. You know what I mean? Wherever I was born and raised, that's my team. And I'm not like these other people too. They move to another city, and I'm a fan of that team. No. Well, wherever I go, I don't care if I'm in Mars. I'm still gonna be a Yankee fan. It doesn't matter. Or if in another galaxy, another dimension, I'm still a Yankee fan. I'm still a New York Football Giants fan, a New York Knicks fan. Oh, well, the Martian Manhunters, the Martian Manhunters. I'm going to be a team on them since I live on Mars now. No, that's not me. I don't do stuff like that. I'm loyal, very loyal. Loyal to my team through good or bad. That's why when they win a title, it means something more. You don't just, jump on some team's bandwagon because they're good. And, there's some people are like that. And they'll wear, like this year, they'll wear, let's say, for example, this year, they'll wear a Tampa Bay Buccaneer hat. And if, let's say, the Buccaneers don't win next year, whoever wins Super Bowl, they put the hat on. Come on. Stick to your team through thick and thin. That's what it's all about. You don't do that stuff. You know what I mean? I never understood that. Oh, here he goes. The man himself, the one and only, my co-host. Or the Clock Brothers here on the IE Network. Hey, Hollywood in the house. What's up?
What's going on, man?
Oh, you sound so low. Why you sound so low?
I don't know. Hold on.
What's going on? You sound low. Why you sound so low? I can't hear you.
All right. Can you hold on?
Why you sound so low?
Let's see here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't hear you. Let me try something. Hold on. I'm going to try something. I don't know why you sound so low.
It should be louder, but
my volume's up.
How about now? It's still not louder?
Let me see something here. Let me try something. A little magic here.
I see mine.
Let me see.
Yeah, I see my thing going up, so.
Yeah, I still can't hear you. You sound very low.
All right, I'm gonna leave out and come back in. I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna leave out and come back in. So.
Let me do something here. Maybe if I leave and come back. Yeah, stay on. I'm gonna leave and come back. Maybe that'll work. Hold on.
Testing. Who can hear me out there? I don't know. Can you hear me? Joseph Tanner, can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me out there, buddy. Joseph Tanner, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, good. I don't know why Jimmy Yates couldn't hear me, but anyway, everybody, good evening. Your boy Heaven Hollywood, the IE Network and the Benchwarmers Sports and Stuff podcast. We're waiting for Jimmy Yates to come back in, and we're going to see if he's able to hear me, because he couldn't hear me before, but Jeff Tanner can hear me. So I know some of the things he's going over. How about now?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I can hear you. I was saying in the private chat that I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're good.
All right, cool.
So, now that we finally got that away.
No technical difficulties. You gotta get things squared away.
Yeah.
Gotta figure out a way to get this, going so you're able to start the show and have no issues, and don't have to, nobody else don't have to start the show. We're gonna have to find a way to get that, onto the access straight, so it doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not going every other place, but let's get on with it. It was. I'm trying to remember. So did you? You already said the rest in peace to. Who passed away? My guy, Elgin Baylor.
Yeah, I said. I don't know if you heard some of that.
Yeah,
I was talking about that. Very underappreciated, very underrated as one of the all-time greats.
One of the all-time greats, Elgin Baylor. People forget, when you're on a team with, Jerry West and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Magic Johnson came along later, and you got to worry about all these great Lakers, Shaq, Kobe, sometimes, now LeBron, of course, LeBron has only been on there 2 years. This is his third year.
Mm-hmm.
And, you kind of forget that Elgin Baylor was right in the middle of those, a Hall of Famer, great player, and he'll be missed. A staples in the Lakers community. One thing that I always gave the old Lakers credit for, they stayed a staple. They're kind of like, I always liked my old Pittsburgh Steelers. They did that too. They would always, a lot of those guys stayed in that community even through their retirement, and did a lot of stuff for the people in Pittsburgh. So, and that's how the older Lakers was. Like, they always stayed involved in some sort of, sometimes they branched off, of course, Jerry West. Like, I don't understand how he's not in our organization, but
yeah, right.
Had some sort of falling. I mean, the guy drafted Shaq, the guy got Shaq to LA.
Kobe.
So and drafted Kobe Bryant and made that trade. So I don't understand after doing that, how the Lakers could, and then he's the logo and the Laker, and retired a Laker. I don't care what type of stuff is going on up there. You cannot let Jerry West get away from you.
Exactly.
And then he's going this one, going. I don't care what did he want. Oh, he wanted to run the team. Okay, what's the problem? Here you go. It's Jerry West. You'd rather Mitch Kupchak than Jerry West. So
especially Jerry West has actually been outstanding, and obviously he was outstanding as a player, but he was outstanding in management too, as a GM.
GM, and then went and made They went and made a great trade for us, and he wasn't even on the Lakers no more. He was on. He was, he was on the Grizzlies and went and gave us Pau Gasol for a bag of basketball.
Yeah, and gave him a favor and a couple of cheerleaders. I heard, and and still no respect. No respect.
Then he's on the Golden State Warriors. Like I never understood that. It's always bugged me. Like it bugged me. The Derek Jeter, the Marlins. Like, why is Derek Jeter not somewhere in the Yankees organization? Like, I don't give a damn what has to happen. You want a piece of the team? I'll give it. You're Derek Steinbrenner now.
Yeah, but that's why. You answered your question.
All right. What about the GM? That's something.
Jeter he want to be an owner. Just like LeBron said, he want to be an owner. Which, by the way, now he owns some of the Red Sox. By the way, which is weird.
The Red Sox. What are you doing owning the Red Sox? You're a Yankee fan.
Oh, why? He's not no Yankee fan. Come on, let's be honest.
This is what are you doing? Like that's like him in football. He's a Cowboy fan. So what are you gonna? What are you gonna do? Go own the Eagles? Like,
oh please.
I guess they want to own. I guess they want to own so bad. Now he's got the root for the Red Sox. It's always.
I hate the Red Sox.
I never get it. I just don't get it. Like, that's why I always liked Danny Ainge. He's back with the Celtics. He's supposed to be the Celtics.
Yeah, that's why he should be. He should die or something.
Right. Even Larry Bird. Larry Bird should have been with the Celtics, not the Indiana Pacers.
You know how
he went to school in Indiana.
Yeah, exactly.
Magic with the Lakers. That's what it's supposed to be.
Imagine Magic Johnson with the Clippers management or something.
I'm sorry. And part of that, you know what? And my thing is this. You know what? Some things are, the old Abbots die hard. You know what, Jeter? Okay, you wanted to be an owner. Pipe down. Take a GM job for now. You get an owner job later. If it means that you can be a part of the Yankees organization, you know what? You're only 40-something years old. It's not like you're dying tomorrow. You could be an owner 10 years from now. Take a job in the Yankees organization. Be a GM. Be a VP. Be something. And then you know what? You want to own. If the Yankees don't allow you to get a piece of the team, you can buy into the team. That don't mean you got to own the team. He don't even own the Marlins by himself anyway. So what's really the difference?
I'm telling you, it's an ego thing, and he's not sentimental like that. It's about business. You know what I mean? So it's not like he says the right thing.
You don't think Jeter's sentimental?
I think no. It's just he'll say. I'm not saying he doesn't find an honor to be a Yankee. But he's not like how A-Rod is. A-Rod loved baseball. He watches baseball when he wasn't playing. Where Derek Jeter, there's a story where A-Rod was hanging with Derek Jeter, comes to his house, and he wanted to watch a game, and Derek Jeter didn't want to watch a game. He's like, "You don't watch baseball?" He goes, "No."
Jeter's like Jordan. Yeah, Jeter's like Jordan. Jordan don't watch basketball.
That's crazy.
He doesn't watch basketball, and then for a while. Kobe was like that too, but then again, we always know, God bless the dead, we always know Kobe wanted to be like Jordan anyway. Yeah. But Kobe was saying that he's not going to get any job in basketball, but then he did with the whole detail thing and how he breaking down Jason Tatum's moves and breaking players down. So he did get some. He just said that he wasn't going to get a job in basketball. Like he wasn't going to be an announcer. He wasn't going to be a coach. He wasn't going to be anything that has to do with basketball. And he was he became a filmmaker, like which he did.
Yeah.
So but yeah, rest in peace to Elgin Baylor.
And he was actually, he did a lot. He was a GM for the Clippers for 22 years. Actually, during his playing days with Seattle University, before he was drafted to the NBA, he made a stand in the civil rights movement. They were going to stay at some hotel, I forgot where, you can take your pick. And during those days in 1958, and they weren't allowing black players to stay at the hotel. So he took a stand and look, I'm not going to play. And he sat out. And it was a huge deal back then. So it's a lot about the character of the man, Elgin Baylor, more than anything that we just talked about when it comes to his accolades and his career. That shows a lot, you know. But, you know, rest in peace to him. Another guy who worked somewhere else and not with the Lakers, you know. I understand.
At least Kareem did work with the Lakers for a while, but then Kareem, I can understand. He went to the Lakers. He was late with the Lakers, but then he wanted to be a coach. They didn't want to give him a job. Okay, then I can see he wanted to be a head coach. They didn't give him a job. Then he went and got a job at the Clippers. You know, so I think he may have got a job with the Milwaukee Bucks, but someone still have not given Kareem a head coach job. I mean, he's 75 years old now, so he's probably
too late now.
Right.
That's just
so
now, let me ask you. I gave my thoughts about this earlier. You know, with DeShaun Watson, you know, I talked about, you know, with the now 14 civil lawsuits from 24 women now currently.
Oh boy.
Here's the thing, and I played. Here we go, devil's advocate again. You know, it's funny. Not even a month or so ago, there was talks about, oh, you know, he wants to get traded, da 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 da. Then it got quiet. Then all of a sudden, this comes out of nowhere the last 2 weeks. Now, I'm using common sense here. I don't think this recent accusations happened recently. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it happened within the last 2 weeks or a month. I think this happened a while ago or not too long from the past. You see what I'm saying? So my thing is, did management knew and wait for their moment to throw their royal flush on the table? Or did Deshaun Watson knew about this and that's why he wanted to get out of Texas? Or both?
Both.
I
think both.
Yeah, I think it's a big possibility.
I just always get so tired of these people. And like I said, if you're a victim, then I get it. I feel bad for you. You know, it's traumatizing. It's just all these things. But why is it that seems like every single victim when it comes to these celebrities, as soon as they don't do what you want them to do, now all of a sudden you want to tell on them? How long ago was all these charges?
That's my point.
Why did you tell? Oh, because when you're a woman battered. I'm so tired of hearing that. You wouldn't know unless you were a woman battered. You have to come to a realization that it's over. So you didn't realize it was over when he was going upside your head? That's at that point you said it's over. As soon as he stopped punching me, it's over.
It's different, you know. It's very dramatic for them. Some of these women, you know, it is, and they want to talk about.
Afraid to say something. Well, why not? Why aren't you afraid now? The time is right. Oh yeah, because it's time to get a bag.
I mean, that's a big possibility. I'm not saying all of them are telling the truth.
Right. I'm not saying that they're all telling the truth. I'm not even saying they're lying. I'm not victim shaming, not anything else. But the point is, why is it? What gave you the confidence now? If you were scared before and you didn't want to talk about it, I didn't want to tell anybody. That's the reason why I didn't. I was afraid. Okay, so tell me, what did you do to make you unafraid now? And then just do that from now on. So what did you do that made you unafraid? All of a sudden now to come out and file a civil suit or something like that. So, but you know, this happened so long ago, and now here you got Deshaun Watson. Now here comes everybody. I think there should be a certain amount of time that you have. Like when this lawsuit comes out, I think they should give people 24. Okay, here's lawsuit. I'm giving you 24 hours to come. If you were a victim by this person, we're giving you 24 hours to come out, and you got to have receipts. You just can't walk in there. I can't walk in there like, oh yeah, Deshaun Watson sexually harassed me. Like come there, and so say, yeah, Deshaun Watson sexually harassed me too.
But I remember one of the things that happened too earlier was that the the lawyer for the plaintiffs wanted like some money right away, like some hush money in a sense. And Watson was like, no. So, unless you're very confident you're gonna get away with it, or you actually are innocent, why would you give that money?
That's true.
I mean, there's a lot of possibilities. I just find it strange that this came out, and not too long ago there was a quarrel between both of these people, with the management and with Watson. Then all of a sudden this comes up. So to me, I think management hit it. They were protecting their guy, and when their guy didn't want to play ball, no pun intended. All right, you know what? We're gonna do him dirty. We're gonna leak this out.
Yeah, because they already knew about it. You know they knew about it.
Yeah, he's gonna.
I believe the Steelers. I don't care what they say. I believe the Steelers did that to and so I think the Raiders and the Steelers did that to Antonio Brown. Because as soon as he went to the Patriots, all of a sudden here come these stories. As soon as he went to the Patriots and found somebody to take him, all of a sudden here comes all these Antonio Brown stories that nobody's heard about. Oh, how he did this to this woman, this to that woman. I believe that he's a old racist behind Ben Roethlisberger leaked Antonio Brown, or somebody from the Oakland Raiders.
Ben Hamburger Hepburn, yes.
You know what I mean? Ben hanging up Roethlisberger.
Yeah. But that's the thing, and I want to make this clear again. I'm not saying that all these accusations are flawed, just like everything. I'm not saying that. I just find it pretty strange. I mean, in my opinion, I think some of it did happen, but they kept it hush hush. You know what I'm saying? And now they want to put it out there. Oh, look what he did. You see what I'm saying? Well, when you know he wanted to stay, you probably kept it quiet.
Right.
That's my point. And I think that's a big possibility. I'm not saying that's true. I'm not saying I know, but it's a big possibility. That's all I'm saying.
Totally agree. What else was on the docket, as we call it?
On the docket, on the bulletin board material, yes. Well, yeah, I gave my thoughts about, I was saying how, heard about LeBron being out with high sprain ankle injury, and I was saying to myself, the man has played 17, 18 years. I can never remember him being on the court with that pain in his face. And on top of that, leave the game. Because he plays almost every game.
Right. And he played, this is only his second real injury. Now, he did something and missed a game here or there, but the groin injury a couple of years ago and then this injury this year is the most most hurt he's ever been, because the dude is an Ironman. And then just like the guy made a perfect good example on this, if you didn't see the injury, those guys said, anybody else, that's an ACL or MCL. He said the way he fell, he said well, LeBron is just a high ankle sprain, because that just goes to show how good a shape and what he does with the weights and the legs like that. Man, everybody else, anyone else, if that's Kevin Durant, if that's Steph Curry, that's an ACL or MCL tear. You know what I mean? So, now with Anthony Davis out and with LeBron out, and like I said, LeBron is the ultimate Iron Man, but the truth is the truth. As good of shape as he's in, he's still in year 18. So what he used to come back from in a day or two is now going to take a week or two. And what he would have came back 10 years ago in a week is now taking 3 to 5 weeks. because he's just taking longer to heal.
Absolutely.
He's taking longer to heal, and
Absolutely.
I see a lot of optimistic Laker fans. Oh yeah, we can still stop it. If Anthony Davis comes back healthy and LeBron James is not there, the Lakers will go out in the first round if they even make the playoffs.
I agree with that part.
If
Both
if
of them got to be back.
if Anthony Davis is back 100% and LeBron James is not back, they will lose in the first round.
I
You
agree.
see, people want to push this narrative that the Lakers play better without LeBron.
That's
Come on,
ridiculous.
like you're taking a stretch. You're taking a stretch of 3 or 4 minutes when he sits down. That the AD is able to carry the team for 3 or 4 minutes, but you're not talking about the whole rest of the game, where this dude dominates the game half the time without even taking a shot. So, I would say, as far as they go, hopefully LeBron can get back sooner than later.
Yeah. I mean, my thoughts on it when before you came on, it was like, I don't think they're in trouble as of now. Now,
Not
if
only
this,
right,
yeah, now if this was a month later and the playoffs about to start, yeah, they'd be dead. But
right,
not right now, where give it a month, he'll be back. Hopefully, he can still do what he do, and
right.
then the disappearing act of Anthony Davis. It seems like he's been
Uh,
gone the whole year. So
yeah,
far.
yeah, because he wasn't even playing well in the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
So and you could tell, I was like, okay, there's something wrong with this dude. He
yeah,
wasn't playing well even before he got hurt. So it was like you think something's wrong with Anthony Davis. And the bottom line is, if they don't have both of those guys healthy, I'm gonna say, LeBron 100% and AD at least 80%. If they don't have them healthy, then they're not winning. They're not winning. They will lose, contrary to what people like Nick Wright and people like that say. Making comments. Oh, if LeBron is healthy, and you told me AD was out the rest of the playoffs, I still got the Lakers in the West. I mean, come on, like really? Because
I mean, you got to be real.
people have to show me that they're not going to just wilt to LeBron James in the playoffs. I'm like,
Well, I don't understand is that philosophy when you give the man credit that they won a title last year, but then you
correct.
kind of take it away in a sense. Oh well, they'll still be fine. No, this ain't the the 72 Lakers. This
Right,
ain't the
right, right,
Showtime.
right.
It's like you don't have both of those guys on that team. No, they're not gonna.
Dude,
The,
that I don't. I'm not
wide
even.
open for the West.
I don't even feel good about the Lakers with no AD and a healthy LeBron, because
Exactly.
they
That's
didn't
what
look
I'm saying.
just now. That's what we had just now, and
Mm-hmm.
we didn't look like a championship team. We were beating pretty much the bad teams,
True.
and
Which you're
we
supposed to do.
we got beat by the good teams because
Mm-hmm.
we don't have AD. So I'm not taking LeBron James now. Now, if you're gonna tell me this is LeBron James at 27,
Oh, yeah.
then I might say just give me a healthy LeBron and I'll take my chances.
Yeah, I
And
roll the
then,
dice for that. Exactly.
right, but now he's 38 years old. May turn
Mm-hmm.
38, so he needs all hands on deck.
Yeah. I
For
mean,
his name.
I mean,
This is a dark
if you,
time coming up.
yeah, I mean, if you look at it positively, the man plays almost every day. This is in a
Right,
way kind of like a short vacation, even though he
right.
didn't want it. And when it comes to Anthony Davis, to me, it looks worse for him than LeBron as it is right now because
Right,
he's been
right.
gone for a while. I think they're hiding the fact that the injury was worse than was put out to the public.
I think it was worse in the beginning too. And like I said last week, I didn't like it because it was the same thing they said about Kevin Durant. They said,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, it's a calf, it's a calf, it's a calf strain,"
Bless
and
you.
right, and he just needs rest. Well, he got rest. He wasn't ready to come back, but they were losing, so they had to bring him back in Game 6. And what happened? I mean, Game 5. And what happened? He tears his ACL. So,
Yeah, well, they pushed him,
yep.
and he went to play. But I'm telling you, the West is going to be all open if them two are not back. At least it's some sort of. Let's put it like this: Anthony Davis definitely has to be near 100%, more than LeBron has to be, in a sense. But even though LeBron's older, though, that you have a good point. LeBron has to be at least 85%,
Yeah.
at least. But the timing at least was good for them as far as they have enough time to heal.
Right, because it's
For
still
second
early.
to
Imagine if this is the playoffs getting ready to start. Oh, baby.
Yeah, then it would be dead. Then it'd be dead. Do you have any stuff you wanted to share on this show?
Yeah, I a couple of things that I did want to go over. The first thing is, you know, Malik Beasley, who is the one from the Minnesota Timberwolves that uh, pretty much threw his wife into the street for Larsa Pippen. Um, so his wife, I think her name is Montana Yao. Um, she's now saying how she's basically living hotel to hotel, Airbnb, and all these different
Mhm.
things because Malik Beasley, you know, failed to take care of her and their son. Now,
Okay.
this is where I have to really tell Malik Beasley doing a terrible job as a father. As a father, I don't give a damn who walks in that door and who you have access to. You cannot just stop taking care of your kid
True.
just for some skirt.
Yep.
And now, and he's writing him a letter saying, "Oh, I need to take some," writing to the son saying, "Oh yeah, I can't be the father you want me to be right now, and I miss you and this and that." And she's like, "If you missed them, why would you kick a 6-year old out into the street so you can basically do what you want?" She went and took and did all that for Larsa Pippen. Well, guess what? The other day, Larsa Pippen was photographed on a beach next to some young dude, and it wasn't Malik Beasley. So Malik Beasley went, threw away his marriage, kicked his baby mama to the street,
Wow.
and now Larsa Pippen comes in and she's with the next dude. Or Malik Beasley doesn't want to be with her, or whatever the case may be. And I just think that's a sad case for Montana Yao. Um, the other thing was, of course, over the weekend, after all the dragging. I'm gonna tell you this: I had never. I said in my video, I had never seen a celebrity or a female rapper take the social media and public beating that I saw Cardi B take this week. I mean, every single article, she's like Hitler. She was saving things, and she said, "Man, cause a WAP." I'm like, Hitler now? They were saying, oh, because of her making WAP and WAP at the Grammys, she's like Hitler. She's a disgrace to, our country. Get her out of our country, this, that, and the other. And then you got Candace Owens, her yelling and screaming. Candace Owens, talking about her daughter and stuff like that. Then, you on top of that, you're going up again. Drake just swooped onto the charts and got 1, 2, and 3. You're still dealing with this damn driver's license that's still lurking around, even though it wasn't number one finally, but it's still lurking around, you know. And then of course, you're dealing with Bruno Mars in a song that's on fire. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So You do all of that, and then you got people talking about she's a disgusting human being, and she parlays that, and she comes out this week going from 7 to number 1.
That's
Even with all of the backlash that she was catching, Candace Owens talking about her, you know what I'm saying? She gets to number 1. All her songs are like number 1 in the New York radio play. And she does all that. And what do we hear? Of course, from the Bobs and I don't know, payola. Payola, sympathy and payola. You know, this is the thing that kills me. The word payola has been around since the 30s. We've been doing payola since the 30s, 40s, right?
Yes.
But somehow or another, and I'm gonna say Nicki Minaj fans because Nicki's the one who said the sympathy and payola. Mm-hmm. Nicki Minaj fans thinks that Nicki invented the word payola. It's like they didn't start using that word until Nicki Minaj said sympathy and payola. You know, sympathy and payola is, you know, if you looked at what payola is just using your power, using your influence, to get people to go out and buy your stuff.
Correct.
Okay, so what's wrong with that? I don't get it. You know, it can't all be. I gave the reason why I bring this up is because I gave a great baseball analogy with it. Mm-hmm. You know, at some point, as he's going on, you have to say, you have to stop saying Bonds is only great because of steroids. At some point, you're gonna have to stop saying Drake don't write his own. Oh, who wrote that? The ghostwriter? You know, like at some point, you're gonna have to realize that the dude's a bad dude. Like he's a bad boy, right?
Correct.
If Cardi B, if it was just, this is the point I was trying to make, and everybody's getting mad at me. If it was only about payola, if it was so easy to do payola, why isn't everybody doing it?
Exactly.
And so that's the same thing I said about with the steroids.
Yeah.
A-Rod was hitting 40 homers. You gave him steroids, he's hitting 60, right? Bonds, you give him for him steroids, he's hitting 70. But you couldn't give Ray Ordonez steroids and he hit 60. So you have to be somewhat good. You have to be. Yes, you got to do something. You have to have something to work with in order for payola to work.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
again, this is the thing. Real quick, I'm sorry that I interrupted, but I remember when you say in your live, and a big thing to put in is that people want to throw that payola. But you have to understand, you have to be that type of entity where you generate money. So when you generate money, like Cardi B does, you cannot go wrong. So that is why this is happening. If she didn't have that in her back pocket where controversy creates cash, which in this case helps her, then of course, I
like that. Controversy creates cash. I like that, and that's exactly what happened.
I said that a long time ago. Controversy
creates cash. Look at the Kardashians. Look, it creates cash. You're going to be controversial, and she has a team behind. But what person with a record label doesn't have she's got a machine behind her? Well, what person that's got a major deal don't have a machine behind them? You don't think Ariana Grande has a machine behind her? You don't think Nicki was with Young Money? That's not a machine. You got Drake, you got Lil Wayne, you got a Baby. That's not a machine. So they all have machine. If you are on a major deal. Okay, they all have machines behind them. And the thing is, Cardi's on Atlantic, right? Atlantic has other artists, right?
Sure.
Atlantic has other artists. So you think that they don't want those artists to
Exactly.
pop? So they just only want Cardi.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
then why don't they use? She just beat out Bruno Mars, who's probably their biggest artist.
Who is a major talent out of it. Bruno Mars
Right,
ain't
major talented. He
bro.
just beat out Bruno Mars. Don't you think they would want Bruno to get that number one slot? I mean,
Sure.
so it's just really getting old. Like the whole payola. Every single time she does something is payola,
Yeah.
but she's doing the same thing everyone else is doing. She's playing on the same playing field. It's
Yeah.
not like she has a different set of rules than
Yeah,
everyone
exactly.
else. And
Yep.
if
Yep.
you choose to say, "Oh, well, my fave is they're too organic and they're not gonna use that because they care about that," well, then don't complain when they get beat by somebody who's using the resources of today.
That's
So
true.
if you choose to do that, that's great. That's great. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sorry, when that's like in the 80s and the 90s when the steroids was running rampant. If you had a choice to do steroids and you didn't do it, and then you go serve up 4 home runs to Mark McGuire, I don't want to hear you complain about, but he's on steroids. Well, you should have got on it then. So, I mean, don't go complaining about a person who's on steroids if you had the same opportunity. You know what?
Exactly.
Roger Clemens said they're not going to be hitting home runs. I'm going to get even with them. I'm going to be on
Yep.
the same even playing field as they're hitting.
Yep.
So if they hit a home run off me, best believe it's going to be legit because they on steroids. So am I.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to even the playing field.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I get it. You hate to use Nicki, but Nicki's the one when we talk about Cardi B, it's always Nicki that comes up. I get it. Nicki is organic. Nicki doesn't want to use payola. Nicki writes her own rap. I get it. I get it. But then you can't complain when she's winning Grammys with people that are on her writing team. You don't want to use a writing team. So just because you don't want to use a writing team, that doesn't mean everyone else has to do the same thing. Would it be great if everyone wrote their own stuff and rap? Of course it would be. That's stuff I came up with. When you're doing that, when everybody writes their own stuff, everybody sounds different.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different sound. It'd be great. We're not in those times anymore.
No, unfortunately.
We're not in those times anymore. So right now, and people hate when I say it, right now, she is dragging these female rappers. She's dragging them because she's got a formula. She sticks to it. She has a hit-making formula. No, I did not say she's the best rapper.
Nope.
No, I did not say she's best lyrical rapper. No, I did not say she's the queen of hip hop.
No.
I didn't say any of that.
No,
I said right now, she is the best hit maker in rap. Nicki's the best rapper.
Absolutely.
Nicki's the best rapper. Megan's the hottest rapper.
Yep.
Megan's a hotter rapper right now than Cardi because she put out more stuff. She just won 3 Grammys.
She wasn't no more.
Right. But Megan won 3 Grammys, and then the next week nobody's talking about her.
Yeah, like it didn't happen.
3 Grammys.
Like it didn't happen.
Nobody cares. Everyone's talking about Cardi B. So she has to have something. She has to have something. If you just there's some people who does music for 50 years that don't got 3 Grammys. And she got 3 Grammys in one night, rapper, and everyone said, okay, what's going on with Cardi? You know, so
Yeah,
people gonna have to eventually stop hating.
yeah,
You
and
know, and I know to oh she pays her fans were paying people to stream a record. That's smart. I mean that's I call that
like, who hasn't
business.
done that?
I,
Like, the first or
right,
the last to do that.
right. I call that business. You should hope that your fans do the same thing. Nicki Minaj fans are doing the same thing. I have no problem with it. I have absolutely no problem with anything other than just stealing the records. If
Absolutely, absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
the same thing. It's the same thing when Travis sent Kylie out there with Stormy.
Mhm.
He's just using his resources, and it may not have been fair. Oh my God, he's using Stormy. He's getting people to buy records by saying
Mhm.
you can come see me and Stormy. That's
Mhm.
smart.
Yeah. I,
That's smart. His baby's mother's a Kardashian. Of course, you're gonna take advantage of it. Why wouldn't you? You're
yeah.
gonna take
Exactly.
advantage of it. And then what happened? He sold 500,000 the first week. It worked. So you have to find what works. Use yours, just like how she's using hers.
Yeah.
All you girls out there with record deals, go use your resources.
Yeah.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Sick and tired of taking credit from this girl. Again, I'll say it again, and I said it on my Heaven Hollywood podcast, which you'll be seeing more of those on the
Yeah.
IA
Very
network.
good.
Like the first podcast was called Sympathy and Payola, and
Yeah. Yeah.
we was talking about Cardi B, and so if you feel as though she's playing on an uneven playing field, she's not. She's playing on the same playing field everyone else is playing in, and
Exactly.
you can do the same thing she's doing if you have a major label. There's
Right.
plenty of rappers out there with major labels, you know. So if you're good, and if you don't want to do what she's doing, then don't complain when she goes number one,
Yeah. Then shut up.
right? So that is the thing I would say about her. Congratulations to Cardi B for not. I mean, beating Bruno Mars and the way that song's being played, the way everybody making a big deal out of him, coming off that Grammy performance where everyone was talking about him, and she comes off where people were talking about her performance negatively, the way she looked pregnant, she couldn't move, she was stiff.
Mhm.
I mean, they were dragging her on Twitter for about 4 days, and then
Mhm.
she's got an attitude, she's a menace to what? How my kids? How am I ever going to explain this to my kids? I hate when people say that too.
Yeah.
Um,
Learn to raise your kids right yourself.
right, right.
You know?
If you think that your kid watching the Grammys is a smart move, well, then you got to
No.
question your parenting anyway.
Yeah. Exactly. You shouldn't be letting your
I
kid
mean,
watching that anyway.
right? You knew that WAP, didn't stand for um Western armed people. I mean, you knew what WAP stood for. So why would you let your kid watch the Grammys? And then on top of that, you had an opportunity for they let you know Cardi B coming up next. Cardi B. That's when you leave. Well,
Yeah.
that's
That's
when
what
you
you
turn
do.
the channel.
That's when you change the channel. Or don't
Right.
watch it. Period.
Right. But don't be watching on that. Then she comes on, and now, oh my God, you knew it was gonna happen. That's why you stayed there.
Yeah. And
So
and another thing that you always put it out there, and people still get confused when you say she's a great artist. Right away they think, oh, are you saying she's the most talented? That's not what that
no,
means.
that's not what I'm
That's
saying.
not what that means.
Right. That's
I
not
don't,
what that means.
I don't get why people they always go. It
It's
doesn't have to be the
right.
bar.
They go
Just people in
overboard.
general.
They just are so upset or so worried about me slaying this woman's better than Nicki Minaj. I never ever
So you
said
never
that.
said
But
that.
people
But you
have to
never said that.
understand. People have to understand. There's rappers, there's lyricists, there's
Exactly.
artists.
On three different.
Okay,
Thank
there's three
you.
different things,
Thank you.
and just because here's a good example. Just because um Talib Kweli or Black Thought, just because Black Thought, as amazing of a rapper and a lyricist he is,
Dope.
right?
Absolutely.
Black Thought, is a great lyricist.
Absolutely.
He's a great rapper. But Kendrick Lamar and Drake are better artists.
Yep.
And they don't rap nowhere near Black Thought.
Exactly.
Right? Their lyrics, their rapping ability is nowhere near Black Thought. But if we go and put Black Thought records on a tray and we put Drake records on a tray, the Drake records are selling out, and then Black Thought's still gonna have 70% of his records left on the tray because nobody knows who he is. Number one, number two, nobody really knows him from songs. They know him from freestyles. And when I say artists, that means putting together songs. That's part of the packaging, the look, the marketing, everything about you makes you an artist. And then your songs, your charts, your chart butts, your songs that get played on the radio. That's an artist. I said, and it doesn't mean they're the best rapper. I just said about her again. Right now, Cardi B is the best artist, the best female artist. Megan's got the Grammys, but to me, she's a better artist than Megan. I mean, her records do better.
And her
songs get played more.
Yeah, management.
Right. And management, all of that plays a part in it. So, that's pretty much it. Like, that's all I want to touch. I'm trying to think of anything else.
Before we bid adieu.
Yep, that's it. That's it. Right on time.
Well, that is all. Like Heaven Hollywood. So thank you, Heaven, for coming on as my co-host as usual, and looking forward to your next live, whether it's on here on the IE Network or on the IG if they allow it.
Yeah. Right.
So I mean, you've been knocking it out the park, man. I love it. Keep doing what you're doing.
All right, love you, bro. I'm out of here.
All right, man. You too, man. All right, there he goes, Heaven Hollywood into the IE Network darkness. Yes, there you go. Yes, and I'm gonna bid adieu myself. I want to also thank Heaven because last week he held it down for me because I want to apologize towards the end of the show last week because my phone died on me. So even though I had my charger on, I couldn't charge in time for me to stay on towards the end. So I want to also thank Heaven for doing that. I told him that privately, but I want to say it on here publicly as well. I also want to thank Wes Clark, aka the director, for producing this show. Outstanding job. Thank you so much for helping me get back on. And of course, thank you all for listening and watching. Thank you, Joseph Tanner, and thank you, Maddie. I saw you all in the chat room. Thank you so much. And now I learned how to use the chat room without exiting myself out of this live. Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you for listening. Please like, comment, or subscribe to the IE Network. It's not just this show, the Benchwarmers Podcast, which comes on every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, exclusively here on the IE Network on YouTube. But we also have other great shows. Of course, we have Real Talk with my producer, Wes Clark, who is the host, and his Jedi Council with Ralph and Kev. That comes on every Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the IE Network. And of course, Heaven talking about his Heaven Hollywood Experience podcast. That he's putting more of that out there. He doesn't have a specific day or time when that comes on, but trust me, that comes on when that comes on. You better peep that when that uploads. And of course, when he does his little 10-15 minute uploads he does every now and then when it comes to the entertainment world. So be on the lookout for that, and also go to his his Instagram page on Heaven. I think it's Heaven Hollywood _Clark, if I'm not mistaken. That's his IG page, and go follow that because his lives on there are just as good as his lives on here, of course. So I bid you all adieu until next time, next week, 10 p.m. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, exclusive here on Tuesday on the IE Network. I thank you all for listening and watching. As I go into the IE Network horizon, I say this to you all. Have a great week. Be safe. And latest and tomatoes. Peace.